Hey everybody, it's Austin Ward for Lettermen Row, back with another BuckIQ, and for the first time, we've got Bobby Carpenter, Columbus media legend, Ohio State linebacker, former NFL linebacker, so you know we're going to talk about that defense. And Bobby, coming out of that game, another win for Ohio State, but 26 points given up to the Hoosiers. There's some concern there with the big plays that just keep lingering. Are you hitting a panic button yet, or are you still okay with some of what's been going on there?
Yeah, I'm not ready to hit the panic button yet. I think this Indiana offense is a lot better than what people remember it being. This isn't the Indiana of 10 years ago. You watched them last year give this Ohio State defense some trouble, and they ended up being pretty good by the end of the season. So I'm not quite there yet where it's time to push the panic button and scrap this. A little bit is the way Ohio State plays with Greg Schiano. They've been playing this aggressive, single high safety man coverage, and in doing that, you're going to be feast and famine sometimes. Sometimes you'll do a great job like Penn State. They were 3 of 17 on third down. That is a tremendous number. But then you also give up some big plays. We saw a little bit of that against Indiana. So 95% of the time they're good. They just have to find a way to keep letting those plays squirt through.
It's just those 5% are so bad, right? I mean, everything else feels fine, like they're right on pace. Plus, they're also having to play a lot of possessions with that offense going the way it is. But they're winning games. That's ultimately what matters.
They're winning games, and there's still time to get this figured out. It's a pretty young defense. And let's not also forget this. Urban Meyer addressed it in his press conference. They're missing what's arguably the best defensive player in the nation. And Nick Bosa, well, he plays defensive end. How does it affect the run game, or how does that affect getting beat down the field? Well, if you only have a 2.5 seconds to throw as opposed to 3 seconds, that's going to make a big difference. And he helps shore some things up in the run game because he always has to be accounted for.
Well, there's plenty to look at. Bobby Carpenter's going to have his first BuckIQ chance. He's got that laser pointer, and we're going to roll the film right now.
Stevie Scott, their leading rusher, into the backfield now. He gets his first carry into Ohio State territory and down the sideline. Finally wrestled out of bounds.
All right, Bobby, so this is early in the game against Indiana. People were expecting Ohio State to come out and maybe try and get rid of that Penn State hangover, and then they pop one right away here.
And so what you're seeing here, this is Ohio State in their typical defense where they're going to have one safety high. And then what they've done a lot is you see right here with Tough Borland, we can talk stuff. They like to mug this backer, and they do this for blitz purposes so that they can account for guys inside because they're so good up front. So they're mugging him up to draw the guard. That way they can get B.B. Landers through. Tough's going to wrap. And the thing is, what you want to try to do is spill everything to your free hitter on the outside. So Chase Young has the C gap right here. So as we run this through and you see the tight end, H-back coming back across, he needs to be able to dig that out because you can see the unblocked hat is on the outside. So Chase does a good job. They get a little bit too much wall down, and there's just the ever so slight seam. And so unfortunately right here, Malik Harrison isn't able to get underneath and make the play. Chase couldn't get off and make it, and now you're left to your safety here. And I believe this is Wint coming down, and people are going to get mad at him about making the tackle.
Yeah.
But when you have a running back who didn't have to make a cut until 3 yards down the field, it's a much more difficult task to come straight down and make that play.
When he gets to this point, as we focus on Wint, though, Bobby, there have been multiple weeks, and everyone asks, well, what about the angles? Is there anything he needs to do different here?
Well, right here, as you run that back, you can see his job. He is a middle of field safety. He has to get to the middle of the field right here, and he has to make sure he covers up everything from run to pass. So he's bailing away from where exactly he has to go, but that's by design because he needs to split the goalpost. So he has to then come back. And the thing is, I think this is Stevie Scott right here, the running back. If they were able to bounce this out and Chase gets under it, stop it right there. He gets under that and bounces out. And if Malik just misses the tackle, he's going to have to take some stutters, and that'll give Wint time to close the distance and then make that play.
Gotcha.
But this is 10 guys doing their job, and it's not Chase doesn't do a bad. He pinches that thing down. You need to be a little firmer here, but they catch him in a blitz, and it's a good call, and it's great execution by Indiana. And now you have a situation where you see Wint trying to come back down, and it's a very tough ask for him to get out of the middle of the field and try to make that play.
Okay, so that's maybe one other situation. Nick Bosa, underrated for the way he played against the run, and here you go.
1st and 10 now from the 32. Long throw across field, and it is caught for the touchdown.
Indiana gets a little more tricky as you go here into the second quarter.
Yeah, and this is where you just get a situation where everybody always has to do their job. So they call this kind of the oh crap play, if you will. If we could slow that down right back here. This is the guy they're going to throw to. And so they're going to run a little razzle dazzle in the backfield, try to distort everybody's vision. And Ohio State typically plays a lot of man. Now I think they might be in the zone coverage here based upon what happens. So as we run this forward, you see the tight end block, 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 and he gets lost in the wash because they're all looking right here at what's he going to do. Damon Arnett's sitting in the back, and he's in good position. You can see his feet. He's in good position. He drifted over, and I think he just loses eye control. They call it ball watching a little bit. You start watching out of the ball instead of guys coming across because he's the backstop. And as we let this play out, he realizes it, but it's just a second too late. He does a good job of taking it vertical there, and then Damon's not able to catch him.
When we hear so much about that eye control, Bobby, and maintaining focus, when you see all this eye candy here, how difficult is that for linebackers in secondary when you have so much temptation?
Well, when you're playing the run, when you see some run play action, it's very difficult because then you have to convert from being a pass defender to go stopping the run. And then they pull up, and now they're in a play action, and it's like you can't even call this really a play action because they're faking this, but it is the quarterback who still has the football, and so but they're anticipating the run, so you take your eyes off of that guy for a second. Malik Harrison could have maybe wheeled with him. Damon's in good position, but they do a good job. Instead of taking it over, he runs away from the defender and gets up the field, and it's a well-thrown ball. And so Damon's not able to get in position right there, and that's something that you're going to have happen on occasion. To me, this isn't the worst thing in the world. It's a well-executed play by Indiana, but also you get a situation here where you have a great pass rusher. I mean, Chase Young is really good, but Nick Bosa might recognize that a split second sooner just because he has another year of experience.
Sure. Looking for Hale, and he's got it. His first catch is a...
And you go deeper into the game here, there's kind of a good news, bad news situation. This would be the last time in the third quarter here that Indiana would score, but they did so, and it looked pretty easy, Bobby.
They did, and unfortunately here, this is Kendall Sheffield down at the bottom. Kendall's done a pretty good job. I know people get upset with some of the PI that he's had. You're going to have some of that when you play some man. And I'm trying to figure out exactly here. I don't know if this was a miscommunication in coverage and he thought he was going to have more help because it looks like he's taking a hard outside play as if they have some sort of zone scheme where there's going to be a safety or backer running underneath. And this is the problem when you don't necessarily have the call sheet right in front of you of what they're doing.
Right.
The other option is that, maybe he was anticipating that they were going to try to run a fade. And, Indiana's been really good at that. They've executed the back shoulder fades. And so he bails out and is watching the quarterback and trying to anticipate a back shoulder fade or something deeper down the sideline in the end zone and just kind of guesses wrong. And that occasionally happens as well.
Yeah. When you play a bunch of plays, you're not going to get them all perfectly right. Ohio State, like I said, bounced back. They did not allow any more points. They wound up winning by 23. The standard is so high, as Bobby Carpenter knows, that sometimes that's still going to make it rough in film study.
It is, but here's the good thing about this. I look at these plays, Austin, and these are all correctable mistakes. It's not guys who really just don't know what's going on, and it's not the fact that you have guys who are getting physically beaten. They have very talented players. They're working their way through. Some of them, are younger, and while Sheffield played a little bit, Damon's played a little bit. Like you've got guys who have played. Now they have to step and be the guy, and so Denzel Ward's not here anymore. If you remember, Denzel Ward got beat last year a couple times too.
It happens.
And he's probably going to be Defensive Rookie of the Year. So it's going to happen occasionally, but these are all correctable mistakes. And I do believe that Indiana is much better than people think.
6 more chances just in the regular season for that Ohio State defense to get better. My money would be on that happening. Next chance to do it will be Saturday against Minnesota. Hopefully some point in the future we'll have Bobby Carpenter back in here to evaluate that progress with us again at BuckIQ. You can listen to him every day on 97.1 The Fan in Columbus. Appreciate him for stopping by. I'm Austin Ward. He's Bobby Carpenter. We'll see you next time on BuckIQ.